Okay, darling, we're doing this. Yes, yes.
Hello beautifuls, I'm currently sitting down on my desk as you can see, and I am just starting over. And the beautiful thing is that obviously you never really start over. You know that every time you go back to something that you've always wanted to do, after some time, after exploring and learning things, you learn more lessons and you come back stronger. I thought let me have a young chat with whoever's listening, because I've realized also I no longer have an audience, because I was always messed up in how I created my community. I don't know what to call my show, BK, so please kindly help me on that, like sleep on it. It is the 16th of April and it is the beginning of a brand new chapter for me. I want to try something called the Dotshavich-Experiment. This is something that we as a nation, as the people, are going to be trying. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm excited. Let's go. Thank you so much for joining me in my castle once again. I enjoy your company. But I do want Dotshavich in. Like, I don't know if I want to call it. So essentially, like, part of like the conversations, it's me like having conversation with different humans that are multidisciplinary or hyphenate, whatever it may be, or mixed. But more, not just that. I think more than anything, I connect with dreamers, because I was always messed up in how I created my community from the beginning. And I've been devastated about it for the past 3 years, because I've been struggling, obviously, to kind of ground myself in my audience. Because I do think, yes, your audience is mostly people that understand or relate with you, but at the same time, you also, you serve exactly the audience you want to attract as well. Sometimes you're not fully sure to the T, the kind of person you're going to bring or attract to your tribe, but you have an idea of what they enjoy because you already have examples around. So with fashion being my constant liberator, what I've been doing is that I want to attempt something. With this plan though, I don't want to make it so much of a plan, because it is so annoying when you start a plan and then it doesn't come to fruition the way you would like. So I'm going to call this one an experiment. And it is the Dotshavich-Experiment. I'm so excited. It is so silly. People that have and are motivated to bring the art inside of them out to life as an experience in whatever form, even if you're not multi, even if you're just one. I want to engage with those people because I'm passionate about that. And again, it's not, the focus is not on the multi itself, it's on the subject. And I would like to take you along. So the idea of an experiment is that there is no outcome that I'm expecting. There's one with this specific one that I would obviously enjoy, but at the same time, just like content creation, there's a lot of things that I never planned that came out so beautifully, and I was like, this is stunning. So I want to give the power of the internet, of social media. I wanted to do whatever it can do whilst I follow a roadmap to commit and to discipline myself, to sharing, to also engaging a community in an idea, in a project, and in a dream. And my problem was when I started with not just TikTok, Instagram, those days actually not even Instagram. Let's go back to BBM. That was still obviously way more personal than just, social, but it was still social. There was a lot of people on my BBM that I didn't know like that, but I saw their statuses, the rest and everything that came with it, So in terms of the planning itself, I'm not going to go deep into it, essentially I am adventuring on bringing something to life that I am not sure of what it is yet, right? But it does involve clothing. Definitely not me making them, not yet. I'd love to one day, to be quite honest, but it's just exploring, playing around and going back to that, because that was the core of my creation when I started on social media. And because I did get sidetracked with opportunity and possibilities when it comes to content creation, I have kumbayat and come back and be like, babes, fashion is your constant liberator. So and I know how to, as a multi, you two, just immersing ourselves in that subject, not necessarily thinking of all the elements, though all the elements are always alive in thought process. So making an example, like for me as a dancer, like when I speak to a dancer, I'm able to almost not be or any other profession, and having the contentment of not having any other skill but dance, and just being so grateful that I'm able to move my body and communicate in different ways that are creative, and in a professional way, but also in an improv way where it's not about the lines and it's not about the training, but more so what I'm feeling. But obviously those always matter, because the more training you have, the more exposure to vocabulary. It's like reading. The more books, the more you're able to just express yourself in vast ways. Your picture is more intricate as you are steezing with your words. Same with art. And for me, again, I'm obsessed with artists, but I'm also obsessed with people that are able to be business about their art.
In the water with the crazy shoes, even more colorful, bro. And that's the crazy experience on the water.
If you want to contribute towards the walls, my crown, or the floors, don't forget to like below. And if you're brand new, subscribe and click that bell button so that you can get your instant notifications whenever Siithembs does upload. I find myself going back to my childhood and asking myself, how did we get here? And I've always had to ask myself that question, because it does come back to bite me, or at least I allow it coming back to bite me, or believe it is here to bite me, because it is a challenge. Work. I need to work extra. Well, essentially I was born in the township. Beautiful sir. Mom, dad, everyone that side, Cape Town, Elanders and Ekailicha. And we moved from Ekailicha, Efilipi. I grew up in Efilipi. And during those years, I got a scholarship. To not further my education. I was already in a school that was fine. Not fine, just I love my school actually. It was St. Augustine's, but we were happy, and I was almost like, I already did half of my primary school, so we were just like, let's go. But it was now contributing towards making things easier, and that was very nice. In doing so, obviously it allowed for me to imagine more, bigger, because the possibilities were here. So I was thinking Dotshavich talks, or Dotshavich thoughts, or Dotshavich something. Dotshavich something though.
I will come up with something like that, because it's funny how we're doing extra art, and I think you've been checking it out. That was initially just interviewing these artists and basically delving into their human complexities. But when I hear with you, you also just want to. That's what I wanted to ask, is that what was more that you wanted to engage with when you speak with these humans?
You know, and I did. I knew that I wanted to go to also a high school of a higher caliber than my primary school. That's also going to provide opportunities. So in my head, from a very young age, my understanding was to be palatable in spaces as I've been to this point, because one of my challenges obviously is that I am stereotypically feminine queer. Anything right now, I'm trying to shoot my adjudication introduction speech, and I'm just like, Viti Varkan Metio, what are you expecting me to do? No sai.
Is it particularly about where their business or what body of work they are working on right now, so that you get what's happening? So something like Dotshavich out the box.
You know, and that comes with its own challenges, and I knew in my life that, you know what, I'm gonna face these challenges and I don't mind, but there are certain challenges that I just want to cut out of my to-do list, or you know what I'm saying. And I think just being palatable in spaces and just being a chameleon was one of those things where I'm like, I don't want people to bother about who I am too much.
We'll come up with a name, but like, it's really...
Oh, I love this. Thank you. Oh, like the center. So the center, I'm like, again, this is a skill that I have. So I don't want to have anything that's gonna make me shine, not kanjalo, not like that. Because the truth is, I've always wanted to be a competent individual so that I can show my worth. You know, when you come from a background of that nature, you come with that kind of baggage, but I don't want to, you know, be in people's faces in that way. If I'm going to be in your face, it must come with competency. So being palatable was very important, going back to that. So if I'm going to go back but when I go that side, I need to be able to communicate with people without them having to ponder on my background too much, rather than us focusing on the subject in matter. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm old, it's hard because now we don't separate the two. It's one person. It's always been one person, but it's always been easier when you separate it by location. But I was adopted at some point, and one. So I mentioned on the last video that I did, my most recent one, that I will be coming every week. Obviously, we know how it goes. We have hopes, and we will continue hoping. I'm gonna keep pushing for that to happen, but again, I'm not going to choke myself. But with that said, I did mention that side that I'm undergoing an artist way journey where I'm going to be holding myself accountable in going through the weeks and finishing the course and discovering what it has. I've been exceptionally bad with it, but I've been good with something that I started on the day of the artist way journey, which was the alcohol letting go. You know, I'm not necessarily saying this is a forever thing, but at the same time, I wish I wouldn't mind. But I'm gonna go through the 75 days of no alcohol. In that, where there's the artist journey, but in that, where there's the Dotshavich experiment. This is one thing for me in my head. I know I'm just dragging you in an idea that you're not sure of now, but I do believe one day, one that has the patience, the time, they're gonna give it what it needs to be gotten, because I don't have a fully fledged idea rather than just a page. Yes, so the surface level of this will be business, right? It's surface. And another surface level of it is these careers. They're not only going to be creative, it's going to be different careers. But for me, that's very surface. And it's a way for other people to relate to the audience and to Dotshavich and to the actual experience, the podcast itself or the interview. Quintessentially, it's like me trying to engage with what we as human beings or that individual specifically has committed or allowed to use them as a vessel in this lifetime. Like, essentially. So I'm not trying to be deep about it, but we know that no matter what, at the end of the day, God or not, or like for instance, like God or not, we are like on a frequency level, we also we accept the kind of messages that are given to us. We vibrate in a way where we agree to be the vessels of it. So yes, for instance, you might be a talented, let's say you might be a talented speaker, but there is a world where you're not a talented speaker. It exists. You are one because you found beauty in it, but that beauty also, there's a story behind it. Where does it come from? Why did speaking become something that is so important to you? Where did it begin? So, and then eventually bring that, that story, the beginning, do you come from a family that is quiet or loud? Do you know what I'm saying? Did you engage in school activities that, that tested you in this way? Do you come from a street? Or what is the heart of it? Or again, it's me trying to gauge influence and how people allow suggestion on a frequency level to affect their big life decisions. Why I'm having this conversation is that I've been pondering on the kind of audience I want to provide content to or tell stories to. But when you're telling a story to your audience, you need to know who you're talking to, right? So that you are able to draw from angles in which they not only relate to but connect with, and they themselves can immerse themselves in the journey in which you are taking them in artistically. So, because that's what I enjoy. I enjoy taking people through an experience of something, and I've been struggling with that also in terms of career and finding something that I am happy to do every day, forever, till at the end of the day. Also, something that I've connected with is that freedom does not really exist to its highest form, right? It doesn't, because our thoughts are not ours, they are gifts. And it's a matter of you enacting with them and engaging with them and bringing that thing to life as an expression. Because when you don't do it, don't think it ends there. That thought moves to the next vessel, and whoever wishes to do or bring that, they will. Again, when you eventually can stand as a human being and say, I am multidisciplinary. Yes, it's a gift, but it's also a choice. And why? And 1, 2, 3. To an audience or an individual. Do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, ultimately, what I'm doing is contributing towards that, but it's not that. It's not what I want. Anyway, to end this conversation, or rather this little drop chat that I'm sharing with you, whoever has given me the time, is that a lot of decisions when I made when I was young were from survival. So I'm not trying to direct it. I want to see who comes with what. And not everyone also is spiritually inclined in that sense. So some of these interviews will never go there, and I'm not going to push it there. I want different steezers, because I do know that I have spiritual sisters. And in my head also, they were going to benefit me in my future, in being able to maneuver around society with whatever challenges that arise, because the most important thing as a human being in what we're going to be going through and experiencing and discovering is being able to communicate your now. Some wish to be superstars and others are. You understanding what assistance you need, whatever it may be, but be able to communicate that. If you want to take part, if you don't want to take part, just a way to be able to communicate. Communication is very important. Pageantry is something that has always been around me. I love it, believe in it, and I've been influenced and currently in a position of influencing. I've previously directed and choreographed an entire fashion show, darling, which focused on social injustice, which is something that I always believe that I have to find my place in a world that is so chaotic, so that, hello, I understand my role.
You're not necessarily just approaching people of the arts, but you're just saying that there will possibly be a majority of the demographic because it's people that roots within your circle.
That's my immediate access. And because it does change the game. One of my favorite, not quotes, but advices that I've ever gotten was from a lovely white woman. Her name is Baloo, and she said to me, you have to give people the power to say no, even if it sounds like a ridiculous request.
Yay!
Actually, no, that's not true, BK. That's actually what Dotshavich is going to be exposing about Siithembs on a reel, where I am putting myself out there, where I'm not going to live this life of having 7 characters living in different worlds. I'm going to bring all these characters at once. My world actually is filled with everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? Ask or bring it up. Let them ignore it or say no. You don't decide for people, and that's changed my life. I don't decide for you. I give you the opportunity, and you sift and you filter and you make a decision, and from there we gooi, and you keep moving. And amongst all of that, as an experiment, you're gonna get a lot of no's, but again, eventually something comes out of it all. Again, in my idea, when I look back in this in 10 years and 20 years, it's just, I know that we as humans in general would have more, like in terms of like just, what is this called? Generationally, we would have seized in understanding the frequency conversation even more. So we, the current generation, we're not as inclined as I know that the next generation will be. To end it, and it would be ironic for me to end it with a sad note to say, I'm sitting here today and I don't have an audience, and it's not my fault. It's because I've tried to be palatable so much that I did not focus on who I am, rather who I need to be in spaces. But obviously I'm speaking about this because veil, prefrontal cortex, she's saying girl.
Yeah, we'll come up with something like, what do they call this? You know?
Sleep on it. Dream.
Basically, podcast shitty. It's really podcasting. And since it's podcasting, you could even be Dotshavich podcast.
No, I don't want the podcast word. I want an alternative. I don't want that podcast word. I'm currently sitting on my table and I'm on YouTube. This is how it looks for now. It's a mess. Nothing is planned here. I don't have I haven't gone there. If anything, this room has changed in the last few days, I would say. So I'm taking my time. You know what I'm saying? So every Tuesday, I'm gonna see you here where I update you on things that I've been doing. In the last video that I was sharing with you that I am attempting to come back, I've been also thinking about in what way, and part of my journey that I had started, but I'm gonna be honest, I've been very bad with it. I've previously entered competitions that have allowed me to express myself as an individual, share my story whilst being on higher heels, because that's what we do all the time. And above that, that has also allowed designers that are internationally recognized in South Africa to work with me. They say, we see you, we love you, and we want to do more with you. From runway, from stills, and to, what are these called? I want to grow the baby, literally. I want to grow this whole thing. Again, I could start, the way I'm starting today, I'm almost allowed to be selling milk in season 2. That's the idea. It's allowed to fail and me to come back in season 2 and say, Dotshavich-Experiment in season 1 was digital marketing, it was the fashion, and it was dance. This is what I did. Obviously, there would have been a record of that whole experiment on YouTube and in other forms and ways, and then I'll give a reflection and then start season 2, because for me, that's I'm trying to create this little network, like Dotshavich Media, of something that I'll always be in charge of myself, come work or not, and it's something that can grow, and also it's something that people can catch on. As I grow my audience, it's something that if you do bump into a Dotshavich-Experiment episode, let's say 15, you're like, who the fuck is this queen? But episode 15, let's go back to 1. I want to be able to create it as a package in that way.
Yeah, it's all that.
And it would be such a gift, to be honest, if I got it from someone else. I've been naming so many things, my packages in each department, dance, fashion, and I've been naming stuff. I think it would be such a beautiful thing to have my show, which is something that I've always had an imposter about in terms of speaking in public. No, not like I don't I don't believe in myself. I do. It's just that I also know that I'm acquired taste at the beginning. When you initially hear me, it's like, okay. Oh, one thing I will master is over planning. I'll have the dates, the times, the people, the idea, the concept, the words, all of it to the T. I'm sitting right here and I'm realizing I've spent the whole day just writing things and not having have done anything to say. And I was like, Siithembs, is this a flaw? It's gonna take time for us, especially new bodies, but not just new bodies. The truth is my people already exist. They're there. They will just get the message when it's time. You know, because I do love planning and I do love having an idea of where I'm going, but sometimes I think, how many times have I done this planning thing? I've done it so many times.
Now with you, what you're saying is it's giving me Dotshavich Studios is willing to develop in different ventures, and I see what you really want to go with this. It has a particular shtick. What did the Jews say? A shtick.
A shtick. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I'll be back in my skin and live in this body as myself. As I'm deciding, of course, to just keep it moving around now and not try to be palatable and just be the product of being palatable, and then we craft from there. I'm not going to try explaining why all the time. I think when I would like to share the story, I will, in terms of why this is the norm. And I think obviously it's the effects of an influence of how I was raised, who raised me, and then everything outside of me also within time, because I've recognized some influence and I love it. Essentially we are like, what did you say about Amulandoza Davante? Please remind me, you said it so beautifully. They are the outcast of outcasts.
The other thing that I really wanted to talk about, wait, this week, what do you think about it? I have a drag name, by the way. I do have a drag name. There's a lot happening. You know what? This video is not formal.
I mean, just you going to NSA, you know that's privilege. Do you know what I'm saying? It is privilege in just how you approach your life. Your confidence to walk around and say, I'm a multi, that's privilege. For you to understand what that is even, it means that you've been exposed to and a community that has a seat on the table for those that brings themselves forward like that, right? So my idea of doing all of this is to be part of those that are like speaking about it out there. If you feel different and more different than those that think they are different, because when you're an outcast of an outcast, you look at those that think they're different and hey, if only you knew as you just you are a whole chameleon. Yes, I'm an animated individual, and guess now we're going to be animated till the end. But I'm not coming with content in that way. I am speaking to young creatives that have like this bold creativity in them that is not still. It is relentless and they want to put it out there. They don't know how. They need to know that they are not the only one that are there, and it's being done, and we are all doing it as a trial and error. We are not born in a system that makes it easy for us, but it's not impossible. The more we give the energy of being multi, it's eventually the system will literally mold itself to our not just our needs, but to our services. And again, the world is going there. Like if you, what is this called? If you specialized, it's great, but it's not as great as it was 10 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? So again, it's almost as if we're divergent today, but in 10 years we won't be divergent. It's like being a multi-girly will genuinely be the standard. Do you know what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying.
So yes, but that's that. I don't want to keep going on more. I have to work, BK. I have a website to work on.
Dear gentle reader, what happens when desire refuses to bow? When hunger breaks the rules and the body aches for what society dares not to name?
I'm inspired by a story whereby people pass each other sexually transmitted infections and AIDS on stage.
This is Ucansi, or Naked Truth. It is not performance, it is provocation.
We would like to call it sexual disorder.
a theatre of flesh and shadow, a queer dominion where paraphilia is stripped bare, where power is not given but seized, and the fragile line between consent and control burns away to nothing. Here, trauma does not whisper, it collides with pleasure.
Or imagine I just make a career out of sexual activities.
Here, the whip is both punishment and prayer, and every moan carries the possibility of freedom or ruin. Inspired by Mpumelelo Grootboom, Ucansi is no polite invitation. It is a reckoning. It drags you into the sweat, the hunger, into fantasies too dangerous to confess in daylight. So I ask you, dear reader, will you linger safely in the shadows, or will you surrender? Let the darkness consume you and rise, reborn, baptized in its fire.
But that had to come with rediscovery and who I am and things that keeps me going. And when I post to not think of community at the beginning too much, I am being of service. I love entertainment. I love transporting people to places when I do things.
If at least I see there are people that are watching the video and are interacting, then I'm gonna sit down and actually have a proper hello I Mensa kind of video. Anyway, from now onwards on my YouTube channel, you can call me the person that you used to think is Siithembs. Okay, no, I'm being dramatic. I am being dramatic, but
I'm being dramatic. Like, I've transported people out of this freaking earth to the moon.
I love the name Nomzi Ann. I am mother. I am the mother. I am the mother of House of Xhosa.
But obviously as an artist, and for me to take anyone anywhere I've never been, I will need to let go of everything and go.
That's fine. That's everything is enough. Thank you so much, Aaron. Of course you're darling.